a very difficult day on my job. I work with teens. We know this, and they're at that age where they're trying to figure out who they're supposed to be, and a lot of them have chosen or made the choice to be everything against what the Most High, what the Bible has told us that we're supposed to be. Now, I work with the Muslim population, and you know, I adore the fact that they are very family oriented. I adore that they're very cohesive, that they have certain standards that they uphold, and I appreciate that. Um, it's not my part to say what I don't like, but I will say what I noticed with a lot of the children when they get a certain age. I'm finding that we could try to keep our young women, our young ladies, and our young men from each other, and you know, um, try to have them date when it's time to marry or when they find a suitable person and the family is in agreement and all of that. But I'm learning that with the culture that we live in, it's like it's extremely tough to raise them up the way that we've had. I mean, it's almost like you have to separate from the system as best as we can. Now, there are some situations that I'm sure people are able to do their part and raise their children in the admonishment of, the word of the Most High. But I've heard a couple of broadcasts on YouTube where people that have a whole husband in the household living somewhat off the grid, raising their kids. You have the ability to be home, you're homeschooling or whatever, and you may not always had that um, the opportunity, but if you're able to homeschool, then that tells me that you have a second income and some additional help. And I think it's very judgmental to say things like, well, these kids are out of order because you weren't a good parent, or you didn't do this right, or you didn't say that right. And so we make those mistakes and poor decisions in saying the such. But nevertheless, nevertheless, what I'm coming on here for is because I'm just noticing that they have in the community where I work, as well as we do, the certain standards that we have set for our children, but it doesn't always happen. And I told you that we have a different culture. We don't have the luxuries, a lot of us, to be at home and raise our children. Many of us have to go out and work, and we do these things to make sure that we're able to put food on the table. And some of us do not have additional help. And so there'll be somebody that'll say, well, it ain't my fault if you had children out of wedlock. Well, that's not the story with everybody. Some people have had children with a whole husband, and if that man left or passed away or whatever, separated, took care of another family down the street, was there but absent. There are many situations. I really believe that a lot has to do with, just because a man is in the house, it has to be an innate cultural sense. Just because a child has a mother does not mean that the mother has a nurturing quality. She should have it, but we have enough children that have some issues that we could clearly say that not all mothers are born I mean, not all mothers have that I don't know, that motherly instinct. We wouldn't have so many issues aside from that. Nevertheless, I just know that we could tell our kids to keep themselves into marriage, and they'll find a way to try to make it happen. We could tell our children that they're not to look at certain content or listen to certain things, but it's almost like they cannot get away from it. As a school teacher, I can't even find an appropriate book without it saying something about homosexuality, something about genderless society, something about fornication, adultery, just all types of things. We've done and we've said everything that we could say. Well, I know that they really acted out today, and I could tell because the Father had given me a word to give, and it just seemed like they did everything that they could possibly do. They cut up in every sense of the way. Why? It was those spirits that tried to make sure that I didn't come forward and give a word. But I want to go back to this. That one thing I noticed about that about the community, which I have no problem with it, they stick up for each other. They really stick up for each other royally. You hear me? They're gonna make sure they stand by each other's side, and I think every culture does. It just seems like it's a little bit more lacking in the African American culture, and that's just my opinion. But nevertheless, with all of everything that they stand up each other. I noticed that there's a lot of praying and a lot of good deeds. And if you pray this prayer, you do this thing, you get a good deed, and you could go to heaven, or you maybe you'll go to hell, and that type of stuff. And I've learned that scaring people might work sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. And when people, when any child, we're not talking about a child that cannot decide for themselves, but when children or an adolescent get to the age that they can make a decision for themselves, it has to be one of understanding. They have to know what decision they're making, and they need to know why. And it can't be because I told you so. You have to tell them. But when they get a certain age and they're teens or young adults and they've already made a decision for how they're going to do things, you're coming up you're coming up against a mindset. At this point, that person, that individual has made a decision to do whatever it is that they want to do. I'm sorry, I'm trying to see what they're doing here. And it's going to be kind of hard for you to fight against that. It's going, excuse me. Hi, hello. I was here the other day, and your husband changed my tire. He came over to the house, and I paid him to change my tire. He put a new tire on. I was here yesterday, but in another car. And I asked you, I was here. Okay, I know you might not recognize me. I'm driving the car that he put the tire on. This is the hubcap is off. Like you put the tire on, but no hubcap. So I'm riding around with a missing hubcap. He just did it yesterday. And I paid you $85. I just want my hubcap on. He gave me a receipt. This is the car that he did. You didn't see it because it was on a flat. He went to my house and changed the tire. I drove a second car. Oh, you tell you about this that one, but you changed that one. Right, that's where the hubcap is missing. I want the. Put the then put the hubcap on. Excuse me, y'all. I don't want to have to get out here and okay, we ain't gonna have no problem. Excuse me one second. Hold on, y'all. Hey, the hubcap was on the seat, but I didn't even think about it yesterday because I knew you needed to get back and it was late in the evening. But we driving. That's all I wanted was my hubcap. And if there's some air, I mean, I give a couple of dollars. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. All right. Okay, y'all. I was thinking, Lord, don't let it be another situation where I gotta fight for some. Okay, so nevertheless, in that community, I'm finding. Excuse me. Hey, everybody. I'm gonna turn the camera off. It's just easier because the mic on the stupid phone is on the bottom of the camera, on the bottom of the phone, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so I'm finding that just because we, do a bunch of prayers every day and they have their beliefs like any other religion or any religion. If it's not in the person's heart, if it's not in the person's heart, it doesn't matter. That's why in the Bible, the man was saying, when he was saying, create in me a clean heart and a right spirit. That's why we have to renew our minds because we have an old way, an old carnal man that can come alive at any time. I literally dealt with a young lady she was toe to toe with me because I asked her to remove her jacket in my classroom. It's not cold. What reason do you have a jacket on? And then another young lady comes and she has on a whole Harry Potter cloak, not plastic, not something that you got up out of a package for Halloween, but for her mother to go out and purchase a velveteen cloak, black and red with the crescent on it. And she's sitting up in my classroom like this. See, this is how I feel on that. People look for things to get a rise out of, and parents, now the parent may not have known, she may not have known that her daughter was up in my classroom the way she was, but I got a strong feeling that she knew. And so I'm finding that, and this is what I wanted to say today. We can have all these beliefs and believe anything we want to, but it cannot be that I think one way on one thing and then I do something else. We over here giving all these prayers up, but yet I can go and put on my Halloween costume. Okay, look, I got all these prayers up asking the Father to give me a spouse, but then I'm over here fornicating. Or I still got old dude coming around here and there, and we still get down on my baby daddy and all that kind of crazy stuff. To me, it's like I'm trying to understand, at what point do we grow up? Like when we get to the place to understand that the Father is not allowing us to do what we want to do, but yet we call on Him when we need Him. We'll find so many people coming on needing prayer, knowing how they live and what they think. Like, when is it okay for a parent to let their kids cut up? And that's why I never took, I know that there are times when the adult is wrong. I get it. But you don't try to expose them in front of the children. You trying to build some type of loyalty with your child to let them know you got them and you got their back while you going in on an adult. It's like certain things we ought to know better. And I'm just so lost about certain stuff like in this generation. Okay. We good? Oh, wait a minute. The air in the tire? Bless you. Thank you. All right, y'all. That's one thing down. All right. So this is just my stance. So I've come to the terms, and I'm quite sure if I'm feeling like this, I can only imagine how the Most High feels. When we're dealing with students, children, not even children, young adults, because at that point, let me tell you something. Society ain't got no problem trying them as an adult if they should commit some type of heinous crime or homicide or whatever. They ain't got no problem trying them as an adult. But yeah, here it is. Parents want a baby kids. I got parents telling me things like, "Oh, my child, she just so emotional." Well, she emotional because you telling her that. Then you go quickly to go get medication for them instead of making some demands in your household. I know it's going to be a lot of resistance, but I have learned sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes you're going to have to stand up for some things and make a stand and not move. And if they don't like it, oh well. And if the law got to come to the house, sadly, just trust that the Most High. Make sure that the Most High is on your side, but just don't go in and do stuff without making sure that the Father got you. Because I know that the Father would not want children, young adults, to be raised up in grown people faces. Now, I'm not talking about an adult that is doing something that isn't right. We're talking about when we tell our children or students to do something for the benefit of everybody. And they want to be combative just because they feel like they can, or they want to show out, or because they mom and them let them do whatever they want to do at the house. I really don't know any more to say because I feel like, for the most part, when you have teachers that care, you know who they are. You know who they are. And you know the ones that don't. Now, there are some really strict and hard teachers for whatever reason. But to me, to ask a child to remove a jacket, I don't know how that's being hard. And then for the administrators to be like, well, I mean, I can kind of see how y'all both could be right. Excuse me? And then they had the nerve to say, well, it was because she wore a thin t shirt under her uniform. What? So, okay. So let me say this. So the day little Johnny gets mad and puts on his overcoat and has some type of weapon inside the lapel or inside of the inner jacket, who you gonna be mad at? And then you'll have people after the fact say things like, "Well, why did they let this man in here with or this young dude up in here with a overcoat on, or a raincoat, or a trench coat, and some type of strange boots, combat boots? He looked like he was dressed for war." Because people are afraid to say something to these kids now. I was at the grocery store the other day, prime example, and a lady was buying something, and the guy, it was a young man on the register. He was so rude and so disrespectful to this woman. And he literally went and was throwing her stuff in a bag, throwing it down the conveyor belt. And then when the amount came up, he didn't say nothing. He pointed at the amount, like you see what it say, $54.18 or whatever. He ain't say nothing. He just pointed. And then when he got the receipt, he gave her the receipt by like pushing his hand out, like, here, take it. He ain't say nothing, no thank you, have a good day. And then turned his head to the side with his arms stretched out, like, you gonna take it or what? Nobody said nothing. People watched this and didn't say nothing, but you know me. I was like, hey, young man, excuse me. I was like, did you want something out the store? I tried to make it light before I said something. I was like, you want a candy bar or something? Has it been a long day? You okay? He was like, yeah, I'm good. Still disrespectful. I don't want nothing. I said, okay. I said, well, I just wanted to let you know the way you just dealt with that lady right there. I said, that was totally uncalled for. And not to mention that she could have been your mother, but maybe let's not say your mother because maybe that's what you do at home. But that's somebody's mom. And I know you don't care, but you need to care. And do you know this little thing had the nerve to squint his eyes real tight, like, "Who? I'm counting down. I'm about to go off." I told him, I mean, hey, it would be sad if you did. I'm just letting you know. I said, if I ain't care nothing about you, I wouldn't say nothing. But somebody else gonna deal with you because somebody might have a son up in here that don't care one way or another, and he found out that you was acting like this towards his mom. It could be something. Or she mention you when she see you out somewhere and point you out to her son that's in and out of jail, saying that little one right there. Handle that. And don't say that people don't do it because I've seen teachers do it. Yes, I have. Playing like they playing. Yeah, put some work in for me with that one. Laughing and smiling while they in a altercation. Teacher setup. Y'all think everybody got straight minds out here? No, they don't. So we need to. Is that a Warcraft? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's some strange stuff be flying in the air now. But anyways, we need to teach our children how to act. And I know you may say I did everything I could. I can't do anything more. Well, you're gonna have to be a praying sister, a praying mother. You gotta pray. Because we don't have too much, because I think it's coming to a time where the father ain't dealing with this stuff no more. I tell my daughters, I told that young lady, y'all can't keep, and I told the young man, you can't do this. You have to adhere. We're living in a different time and generation. It's a no nonsense era, a zero tolerance era. And you're going to have to make better decisions with your life. Before I left that grocery store, he was just looking. And I said, do you understand? And he waited for a while. I said, I'm just asking you. I'm not your mother or nothing, but I care enough to say something to you. I said, too many young people are dying. And if they not, they walk in here upside down. And it doesn't get you anywhere. And I was like, you get where I'm going? You clear? And he was like, yeah. And that was the end of it. I don't know if he changed his ways, but he cannot say that he was not warned. So I don't advise that anybody would just step up and say something to somebody else's, because some of these folks is just utterly they controlled by wicked demonic power. But I just really believe that if you say you walking with the Most High, then you have a different type of grace that He is giving you. All right. The reason why I was coming on, and that's the reason why all this stuff was going down, and I got to be quick because I got to go up in here and talk to this man because got some stuff going on. But anyways, listen, real quick word. We have to believe till we can't believe no more. What do you mean? Believe in his word, believe in the most high, believe. I don't care how dim it look, how bad it look. Let me tell y'all something. Believe that you can be well. Believe that you will live. Believe that you deliver. Believe that you're going to make it. Believe that if your job folded, you're provided for. Believe that the Most High will take care of you, that He is your provisionary, He is your healer, He is your deliverer. He is everything that you need Him to be. You got to believe, because I'm telling you, the only thing that's going to work for us is faith. And anytime people did not make it in the Bible or in history is because they had lost their faith along the way. So you're going to have to ask the Father to help you, and so that you are not walking in doubt and fear, and you're going to have to step up. And I'm telling you, you're going to see stuff fall. It said there's so many things are going to happen in the last days that man's hearts will fail them. You're going to have to ask the Father that your heart not fail you. You're going to have to stand His word and replenish yourself. But you got to believe. Do you believe that you could raise the dead? If you go back, I posted something the other day and it says on there to watch the content of the language, but it had a message. How a lady said, you keep talking, even when they look like they dead. You have to keep talking until they rise up. The problem is we give up too quickly. And I believe that Christians or believers are going to be held accountable, because you can't say you got faith for stuff. And the moment you see something with your eyes in, you assume that it's over with. Just because my eyes saw it end doesn't mean that it ended in the spirit realm. So I'm gonna have to open my mouth and speak contrary to what I see till I cannot see it no more. Do you know what or till I cannot believe for it anymore? The Bible tells us to have faith and to continue to stand and stand thereof. Like no matter what. Putting a nail in the coffin means that you're sealing it shut, that even if in the inside, if anything was still living, it couldn't even get out the box. And too many of us are putting a nail in the coffin. We don't even know if it's dead or alive. We see the coffin, the person is in it. We just go ahead and say that they did. But what if the person just needed a nap and they laid down in the coffin? Of course, that's figurative language, just to say that everything that looked like it's over with isn't necessarily over. Everything that ended may not have ended. It's according to the way that a man thinks. Do you have faith to raise the dead? Do you have faith to turn your situation around? Do you have faith to still be provided for though your job ends? Do you have faith to be healed even though you feel ill and sick? What do you have faith for? You're going to have to hold on to this all the way. The Bible says that Jesus was sleeping in the stern while the winds and the waves was bellowing over the ship and it was getting ready to capsize. And the people were afraid and they was yelling and waking up Yahusha. They was waking him up. Like, why? How can you sleep? Don't you see what's happening? And Yahusha stood up and he said to the winds and the waves, he spoke to them. And they ceased. And of course, people was like, what matter of man is this, that even the winds and the waves listen? And then at that point, we remember some things happened. But at the end of it, Yeshua said, what did Yahusha say? He said, man, when I return, will I find any with faith? Will there be any? Is there anybody? Anywhere? Anyone? You're going to have to look past the damages that are happening around the world. This is damage control at this point, and you're going to have to stand in faith. And you got to hold on to something. And who you holding on to is the word of the Most High, and keeping Him with everything in you, keeping it all, the living word. All right. Last thing I'm gonna say, and I gotta say it. I don't know. It just keep coming back to me. Zero tolerance for these young people acting like idiots. Read the Bible. When those young boys turned around and was speaking to the prophet, what did he say? They was calling him bald head, and a bear came up out of nowhere and devoured them. There's another situation, Eli's kids. Pray for your kids, and you need to tell them, because this ain't just about how I'm feeling. I'm watching some stuff, and adults are literally standing behind ignorance, holding it up. Well, why do they need to? Well, what's wrong with them coming in school late? I mean, why can't he have his pants hanging down? I mean, what's wrong with him having braids with pink dipped on the end? I mean, why can't his toenails be polished and his fingernails? Why everybody always want people to keep pushing the line out, pushing the line. I mean, my goodness. So what you really want me to do is not draw another line, because that's what you was asking me to do at first. But now what they want you to do is erase the line. So there is no consequences. Ain't no such thing as a blur anymore. It's just utter confusion and people just running all over the place with no standards, doing whatever they want to do. Well, I'm probably not the person that any child should be in my class if they don't want to follow any standards. And then the moment the kid get in trouble or something happen, Those are the parents that weep the hardest and crawl over in caskets. It's time for people to stop being ignorant and fighting dumb battles and, "Oh, my daughter, so what?" I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that shirt she got on, and all the boys can't even focus in school because all they see is her long breast while you at home taking care of her kids and she in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th. Hey, Cloud 9. People need to get their act together. We cannot keep endorsing stupidity. Our children are here for us to raise. We are stewards over them. Stewards, not tyrants, stewards. And we are to teach them according to the word, and we should be teaching them the law of the commandments so that they are in covenant with the Most High. So they got that much that they know, constantly instilling in them, not beating them with a brawl, but teachable moments. Hey, that's a shame that he would lie like that when the Bible says to not lie. It's one of the commandments. Oh, that little boy disrespecting his parents. The Bible says if they would honor their mother and their father, they live long. And in the Torah it says that they would see the promised land. My goodness. We're gonna have to do better. We cannot be endorsing the ignorance of our kids. And when they out of control and they wrong, we should be standing separate, not against them, but separate, letting them know I don't go for this foolishness. I'm gonna be across the street, and when you get ready to come over and do things right, then we can walk together. But I'm not getting ready to join you on street foolish. I'm not doing it, and I'm not getting ready to go against no adult for you. And even when you have a husband or somebody that has come into your life to help you, I see women raising up against the man. Don't be telling him that. Why you keep hollering at him? Why you gotta go up to his school? There's something wrong with that teacher. And the man trying. And then eventually when they see that stuff, they turn around and be like, you ain't my daddy. What happened to unity? Don't you know that it's been, I know, and wait, this is the kicker. We don't want to say nothing about when the man is trying to discipline or teach them right, or woman, whatever it is. I mean, I'm talking about a man in this case. But then the moment, you know what I'm saying, something wrong happens, then you want that man involved in your life. Or when the child is disrespectful towards you. But when he tried to tell him something, you don't want nobody to say nothing to him. It's like, what again? You don't want anybody to live by a standard. You want us to erase. You want the line pushed back enough till we don't see it no more. And the only time you want the line drawn is when the line works for you. We should be standing together. But isn't it funny in our community? A lot of times we stand together when the child is being molested by a father, grandfather, and uncle, and all of a sudden the secrets are good and as good as rain. But when we should stand together as a united front, as a family, we're missing that somewhere. What happened to family? Every every culture has it. African American community, man, I have seen on report card day in all types of school, the moment that the child has said or done something and the father tried to say something, the mother raising up or walk out or something. You very see two of them come there together, standing side by side. And then the child knows that there's a disruption, a break in the union, and they gonna play one to the other. They do it each and every time. But yet you come in the Muslim community and something is wrong, and that father hear you, that mother don't open her mouth. Because even if she felt that there was something wrong, she has enough sense to talk to her husband when he's not around a crowd and embarrass him. We say we won't help, but do we really? Do we really want help? No. We only want it when it's convenient and it works for us. And that's not every woman. When I come back, no, I ain't even gonna say it because I know what I'll do. But this is my broadcast for today. At this point, if you got teenagers and young adults, they already grown. It's gonna be a little difficult to do things now, but I am still a firm believer. Remember what I said. Believe till you cannot believe anymore. So while they still on the face of the earth, keep believing. Father is looking for faith in this era and in this time. Believe for your kids. I know some days I want to feel like they just a lost hope or a lost cause. That's what the enemy wants us to do. That's what he wants. He wants you to say your marriage is final, it's a done deal. He wants you to say she ain't gonna never change, that ain't gonna never change. He wants you to say you're gonna die from the city. He wants you to say all of these things. But if you will continue to pray and get up in that hour and stop loving sleep more than you want to hear the voice of the Most High, He is faithful and just. He will give you answers, reveal mysteries and secrets to you, send people to help and give to you. Trust Him. It is all right. Believe till you can't believe. I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say it. To this day, and people might think I'm crazy for saying this, I still think that my grandson is living, but in somebody else's household. I believe when they pronounced him dead, and when I came up there and started praying in tongues, and I hit the top of the door latch with both of my hands and bound up some stuff, I think something happened. Now I'm going to put it here. If I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, why have I never got a death certificate? And why no autopsy? Why every time I call for it, I'm left on hold or hung up on? Why ain't nobody saying nothing? That's okay though. So you may say, well, why are you saying that out loud? I don't worry about anything. I feel like the enemy can only really touch material things and people that refuse to line up, but I cover them. And so material things, my heart ain't in that. My heart is not in that. I've seen some things go down, cars and everything. But glory be to the Most High. I stand with Him and I believe Him when He said that all things work together for the good to those who love Him. And I do my best to show Him that as much as I can. And He said, without faith, you cannot please me. So if you don't have faith, you ain't pleasing Him no way. So I do my best to keep faith so He be happy with me. Because that's my way of saying I can't do it. But Daddy, you can do anything. So I'm going to keep the faith. Sometimes I cry and I hear Him say, shake that off. Shake that off. Wipe the tears from your eyes and get up. Come on. Keep the faith. You're going to see it with your own eyes because that's a part of the covenant. And He's going to do just what He said. For I'm not a man that I should lie, neither the son of man that I should repent. For if I said I'm going to do that thing, I'm going to do it. And that's what I believe. And I don't listen to no man saying nothing. And if I feel myself listening to somebody, I start turning off stuff. Nope, nope, no news, no radio. Nope, I ain't believing that. Nope, I ain't going for that. Nope, I ain't down with that. I ain't being hungry. I'm not going to be a part of the family. No, famine. Nope, I don't want to be in darkness. Nope, it's going to be light and Goshen. Nope, I just keep telling myself, Father, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to believe you. And if I'm there, you'll take care of me. It's going to be okay. I'm going to walk through. I ain't say nothing was going to happen, but I know that even in a storm, I'm going to hide in Him until the storm passes over. Keep the faith, family, and pray for your children. You must, because this world is trying to suck them in like a vacuum. Believe, have faith, and don't let go of nothing that Yah or El Elyon has written in His word. Hallelujah. Glory be to the Most High. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the Most High. Shalom. Peace and grace to each and every last person. And I'll talk to y'all